Really is. Well, visitors, they have traveled to Western New York from literally all over this country.
Yeah, some people who've traveled to the southern tier are getting a unique perspective of totality.
Two on your sides, Nate Benson is down in Jamestown for us today.
Yeah, how's the sky looking there? I know you're at the airport. It looks like it's brighter there, Nate.
Yeah, Scott and Mary Alice, it is getting bright. You can see the crowds behind me, about 200, 250 or so behind me, starting to gather near the tarmac of the Chautauqua County Airport. I'm gonna have my photographer Jackson, though. You mentioned the blue skies. They're so close. They are so close. They've been kind of hovering about 10 miles away, and they're just about over the airport. Totality is about a half hour away. So we're hoping those clouds just shift a little bit more so we can finally see that solar eclipse. A lot of people, though, have been flying in. You might have heard in the beginning of my shot, a plane just landed seconds ago before we took this live shot. So a lot of activity here at the airport. I spoke to one pilot about an hour ago. He flew in this morning from Pennsylvania.
Completely dark, and it was a great experience. But yeah, if it's too cloudy, we might try and punch through this layer here, find a little open spot. We'll get up on top of the clouds and maybe circle around and experience it from there. So.
Yeah, and a few of those pilots just took off a short time ago as well. Over the last 20 minutes or so, we've seen some traffic flowing in, some traffic flowing out. But the traffic here on the ground, though, as you can see, about 200, 250 people here getting ready. At about a half hour from now, totality of the solar eclipse. We're going to be here, of course, all afternoon talking to some folks. And, of course, hopefully these clear skies just shift a little bit closer to us, Scott and Mary Alice. But we are hoping to have a great view of this awesome event.
All right, thank you very much, Nate. We're back on. That's okay.
Sorry.
We're still here with Troy Paisley from the Science Museum, and we've been learning a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Troy, you were talking about how you've seen an eclipse in other parts of the country. It's a unique experience here. Traffic Tracker has told us people have left the roads. So obviously more interest than some of the naysayers were predicted, but you're probably not surprised.
No, not at all. It was the same thing in Thermopolis. You know, Thermopolis is a tiny town, and it was right on the outer edge of the totality band. So it wasn't a prime destination or anything like Buffalo is, being right on the center line. And it was much the same. On the way there, hardly any cars, typical Wyoming fashion. Yeah. But we stayed for the entirety of the eclipse. I photographed the series, so I stayed until the very, very end. And then we stuck around and went to a small state park next door for probably a couple of hours. And then later on, when we actually left there, we got stuck in traffic jams in the middle of nowhere, Thermopolis, Wyoming.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've noticed that with every live shot in every location, the crowds are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think, too, a lot of folks were hanging back and waiting to see what the clouds were going to do.
Plus, when you think about it, there are a lot of different events going on around the city. People are heading different directions at different times. It'll really be more like the Bills game letting out after this thing's all done. And everybody's trying to leave at the same time, getting on those arterial roads, trying to make their way back out of the city. So that's why we've really been encouraging people to pick your location and try to plan on sticking there for a little bit. Let the traffic dissipate before you try to hit the road.
I want to ask you a quick question. I have my glasses on right now. I am looking up at the sky, as are probably a lot of folks at home if they're listening and watching, and I really don't see anything still.
Okay, hold
Is
on,
that just
because
because
it should be there right now, because we're looking, we can see our station camera. You really have to kind of move your eyes around and your head around to find it. Troy explained that, because you said your eyes really need to adjust to the darkness.
Yeah, kind of like when you go into a dark room, all of a sudden it takes your eyes a few seconds to adjust.
Okay.
And the other part is if it's covered with enough cloud cover, you're not going to be able to see them through the glasses because they filter out so much of that sunlight. The hydrogen alpha filter on the camera that we have over here lets it see through the clouds a little bit better than we can. There you go.
I see it.
What do you think?
That is cool.
Isn't it?
Yes. I finally see it right now.
It really is. Look at that.
Wow.
It opened up for you, Mr. Levin.
Yeah, you can see some little sunspots, the little dark
Look
spots
at
on
that.
the sun there.
Oh, no, see, I thought that was something stuck on our
Mary
screen.
Ellen,
No,
put
those are
glasses on.
sunspots. Those are actually cooler spots on the sun due to the magnetic fields, the way they move and pull around.
That is really, really neat. Okay.
Yep.
I feel like a little kid right now. I got to be honest
It's
with you.
amazing, isn't it?
It's as clear as a bell at this moment right now.
It does look fantastic.
It's like 1/3 covered. It's like a little crescent right now.
Yep.
But you can see it as clear as a bell. This is exciting.
And I'm really glad that we have that camera with the special filter, because what you were talking about, Troy, those little spots on the sun,
Yep.
I cannot see them, but I also wear glasses. So maybe that's why I couldn't see them with my glasses. But that looks really, really awesome
it's
to
really
be able to see
amazing.
that kind of detail.
Yeah, and when we saw the totality shot from Mexico a little bit ago, if you looked really close, you could actually see some of the prominences, some of those, some of the gaseous flares, the plasma flares coming off the sun,
So
and
that
then you
would
saw
be-
the corona moving, that outer atmosphere of the sun, which we'll see during totality. That's where there is a lot of movement that goes on, and a lot of colors. It's just amazing.
Wow. So are those flares? Oh, okay.
There it is, right
now,
there,
This
yeah.
is Texas. This
Yeah.
is, I'm guessing, Fort Worth or Dallas.
Nice.
So yeah, they're in full totality right now.
Mhm.
So the flares would be on that outside perimeter?
Yeah, right off of the surface. Sometimes you can see some popping out. I wear glasses too, and I don't have them, but I think I see one down on the lower right down there,
Yes,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
poking
yeah.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see that. And then the haze that you see around there, that's the corona. That's the outer atmosphere of the sun, where all of that hydrogen gas, all that plasma is ejecting itself from the sun. So normally we can't see that because the sun is so bright. So the
Now-
only time we can see that is when it's totally covered up by the moon.
That little spot in the lower right, is that the diamond ring?
No,
No.
looks like the diamond ring is already passed. I think that's
Explain
a
to people what that diamond ring is.
Diamond ring is basically when we get almost to totality, since the moon isn't a perfect sphere, it's not a perfect circle, it has crests and valleys in it. So as we see those little valleys, when we're almost to the edge, those little valleys kind of peek through, the sunlight peeks through those, and that's when we see what we call Bailey's beads. And then
Okay.
finally, as the sun is almost totally eclipsed by the moon, we get that diamond ring effect, because that's that last tiny bit of sunlight that you can still see. So as soon as that diamond ring disappears, that's when you want to take your glasses off and see the magic.
Troy,